as long as I had the knowledge I have now.
Yeah, well, that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, well, everybody wants to be Biff Tannen, but that ain't gonna happen.
Take back your book.
Take back your sports show. Well,
Your sports almanac.
everyone was be like, I'm just gonna go back in time and fix everything, and everything's gonna be great. My life's gonna be so much better, and it's probably not. It's probably not gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be better. I'm not lying to you. Like, it will be better, but not much better. Just somewhat better. Just a few things that you wish never happened be better.
You don't need the sports almanac anymore. You need a post-it note with like Bitcoin and like two dates to sell.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You just need yeah, 2 dates to sell, 117,000 for Bitcoin the other day. Not a bad time to hold on. Just go back to 2013. Buy a bunch of them for 6 cents and just stack in there, throw it out. And you won't have to worry about doing life again, because that kind of money, that solves all problems. People say it doesn't. It does. You can.
I don't know. Jeff Bezos' wife, I don't think the money solved all the problems.
No.
No.
I mean,
It
he
might have
definitely
made
he
some.
traded down on that one.
The issue with Jeff Bezos' wife is that women and money never mix. But for men, as long as you have money, you'll do all right. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
No girl math in that situation. Anyway, welcome to the PARAcast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Fernandez, joining you on a green chair I own. Joining me tonight, he was also inspected by the FBI and found to go off with a single tap. It's Robert Wyatt.
I got nothing.
He's got nothing.
I got nothing.
No seer engagement there, you know what I'm saying? And at the gym, he walks backwards on the treadmill while squeezing his butt for maximum engagement. It's Kevin Isaac.
You gotta be protected when you're at the gym. You never know what's gonna happen.
No, you don't. But you got to get the maximum engagement. I was sitting there. We're in the middle row. We're watching whatever. I'm watching some prank show where Post Malone's pretending to be a mechanic. My subtitles are.
I mean, ironically, all the tattoos actually do kind of fit that profession just a skosh.
Yeah, like I remember when people used to be famous and tried to hide their past, and now.
What was the one with it was a Kylo Ren? What was that guy's name?
Adam Driver.
Yeah, he did Adam Driver. He did the Undercover Boss one. Did you ever see that one?
No. The Undercover Boss.
I did.
SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is hilarious.
Yeah, that was the best. That's right. That's right up there with in a van down by the river.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, this lady, she like right in front of me, turns around, starts walking backwards, and I'm just like now you've totally now I can't lower my eyes. Like, I got to figure out some path from my TV around you to my screen to adjust my speed or whatever like that. Like, I got to do that now anyway. Women, what are you going to do with them?
Wear glasses, just shades.
Put it back in the kitchen.
Well, in this week's Sig Drama, Portrait Band, I guess FOIA a document from Michigan State Police that was conducted by the FBI, and they inspected a Sig P320 that went off in an Alien Gear Level 3 holster and had not been removed from the Alien Gear Level 3 holster and was sent off to the FBI to get x-rayed and to have their firearms team look at it and run tests on it. And guess what? In certain situations with excess twisting and bending, it can go off. Who would have saw it coming? Nobody.
I think that's all bullshit, because we all know that the Sig is the most tested firearm manufactured.
I can't believe you guys are still talking about this. I mean, move on. This is a nothing burger.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, we have Bruce Gray on the
also.
On the
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
And there is no client list.
There's no client list. There's not a minute missing.
I just want to know if they're going to now release, who is it, Ghislaine Maxwell, since obviously nothing ever bad happened.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, there's no crime.
Correct. If there's no client list, there's no blackmail, and there's no one else attached to that kind of criminal underworld of touching kids and all that stuff like that. Like what's going on?
And I think tomorrow, I guess isn't the 14th the 1-year anniversary of when that dude shot Trump?
Was it the day? I don't know. It's very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quick. And that guy also they don't know anything about him either.
It's fine. Did he do something wrong?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he's, it was probably Iranian.
Oh, you thought the government was to be trusted. Oh, there's your
Oh,
problem.
funny us.
Yeah, you just
I
Yeah.
have a SIG story too. So if you guys remember earlier this year, this is another story down here, but earlier this year, this dot died
that's
on
a
me on the middle of the street.
Romeo
This is
3
the
Max.
Romeo 3 Max Pro. The Pro means it came out this year, like it's the newest version. Uh, I called SIG.
Well, that's the
I
funny
said,
thing because when they say pro, what they really mean is Romeo Beta.
yeah, no, exactly. So directly to that point, I called them to get it fixed because it doesn't work. Like it breaks every time under recoil it turns off. Um, the dot is not available for 6 to 12 months. They'll gladly replace it once it's through its next revision, and you could no longer buy this dot anywhere on the internet. I assume I looked at several places. It's not for sale anymore. It's not listed on SIG's website. So beta test on customers. At least this one won't kill me. I mean,
This
it
is
might get
true.
me killed. It might get me killed in the streets,
Might kill your
but
match. You know,
yeah,
I see it's on the M&P metal, frame.
yeah.
Is this a gun that's
Well, so,
actively being shot, or is this just sitting on a gun that you just have for T&E?
no, this is just T&E. I put it on this. Well, so I took the battery tray out and put a little shim in it, because I think I know why their dots are failing. But
Why?
the
So it's
well, so
shutting off, but why?
the battery contacts. You know how
Hmm?
like on I think it's on the SRO and many of the new ones they have multiple prongs, right? Like so it's kind of like spring loaded
Right.
through
Yeah.
multiple prongs. This has one. It's a
They
straight
Oh,
zigzag bend in one little prong that touches the battery for
instead of
the
having
negative
3 or
contact.
4 spring
Yep,
steel contacts.
yep. So it's
didn't
just crushed it
Trijicon
out.
have? Didn't Trijicon have that problem like with their RMR like forever
The
ago?
type
Yeah, and I think they went to three.
Yeah.
the Type 1, which was never the RMR Type 1, it was never meant to be shot on a pistol. It was supposed to be
Really?
it's supposed to be a rifle dot, a small rifle dot, shotgun dot, or to sit on top of the ACOGs. It was never meant to go on top of a handgun. Only people found out like, oh, this thing's tough enough to put on a handgun, and we could go throw this on a handgun, and then you'd get like the flicker
Hmm.
of the battery jostling inside the case or whatever like that. So, but there's
So the shim fixed it though, right? I mean, I'm not going to trust it, but the RMA procedure was, hey, send us the serial number. We'll send you a new dot in sometime in the future, maybe, and we'll also send you a Romeo 1 Pro. I think
yeah.
just for you to keep in the meantime. So I threw it on this gun because I'm doing testing and
Well,
development because I'm I'm betting with a high level of certainty that this will become steel in the very near future, and so I'd like to have a guide rod that fits the competitor once
the
it's steel. I
oh
mean,
yeah, they
it'll fit
came
the
out with one in
aluminum
steel,
one.
Didn't
right?
Yeah, it's like the comped version and blah blah blah. There will be one that's like this competitor. I almost guarantee it.
So is the Romeo 1 Max Pro, is that on the Delta Point footprint?
Yeah,
Okay. So they changed it
yeah. So
from
that was their revision this year. They released it, and that was their revision to change the footprint. I mean, it's a super bright dot. The glass is clean, but clearly it's in beta.
yeah, they have this other dot where the glass is clean and the dot's really good. It's called the Vortex Defender XL. It's also like
So funny you
half
should
the
mention
price.
this. Let's have my other story about dots. So I shot Care Optics Nationals, and I kind of have a major match routine, right? I change my battery before Nationals every year. I don't care how long it's been in there. I just change it. So I change my battery a week before Nationals. I do my Nationals practice lead up, which is I shot like I don't know 1,000, 1,500 rounds in a week. Fine. Go to the first stage, shoot the first array, run to the second array. My dot is gone. So I index shoot two paper, a steel, and miss two paper that's at like 20 yards. So that's how I started my match. It's my Vortex Defender. So in the Vortex Defender, the battery door has a gasket that is secured in place with like these metal soldered clips, or they look like they're crimped on. One of those clips had broken away, and it allowed the gaskets normally around like this around the edge of the door. It went like this, right? Like
Mm.
pulled tight on the one side, slid underneath the battery is what I figure, and broke contact with it. So That was my Vortex Defender story. I haven't contacted them yet. I fixed it temporarily, like, and it worked the whole match, right? Like, I looked at it, I saw what had happened, and just stretched out the gasket because I don't really care about the water protection, and it worked the rest of the time. But
And I
So
moral of
at
the
this
story is
point,
buy an
get a
SRO
Trijicon
or
SRO.
they break too. They're just less frequently, right? So
They break too. When was the last time you had one
I
here's
break?
the
got
moral of the story: buy an SRO. Also consider doing backup irons if you
backup
can.
irons. This was the here's the one thing with dots and backup irons. When you enter a position and the dot has kind of failed on you, your instant thing was like, I must not have the index. When you
Yep.
use the backup irons, guess what should be there if you have the irons
Right.
aligned? The dot.
Yep.
It's kind of handy to have. And when you have to make 20-yard shots, um,
So
it's
it
going to
was
be a lot
this is
better.
this is super impressive for me. Like, so this happened, and I'm like, crap. Like, there's nothing you do, right? Like, you just shoot the stage.
Yeah.
So I just put 3 on the paper, and like I saw I was low on the first paper, and so I brought it up and got 2 alpha and 2 alpha. And then I transitioned to this. It's probably like a 17-yard mini popper, and I like put the gun there. I'm like, it's there. Bang, ping. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then I transitioned to the paper and send 3 and missed 3 times. So
That's and
happens.
that's rough.
Yeah.
That's a super a rough
But
way to
it's one of
start
those
the
things
match.
like I look at those things and I go, what could I have done to change this? Literally nothing,
Use an
right? Like,
SRO.
well, maybe, right? But things
I mean,
break all the
that's the hard
time,
thing, right?
right?
I mean, like all these optics come out, and they're all great, but at the end of the day, the SRO works. The SRO for our game is effectively a Glock 17.
Yeah,
It just works.
yeah.
And it's not sexy, and people are like, "Oh, it doesn't have as good of optical clarity, or the dot's not this, or whatever," but it keeps working.
Well, here's what I was gonna do, Robert. I was gonna get my new Sig dot back, my new repaired one, whatever, and I was gonna sell it, and I was gonna buy an SRO.
Attaboy.
um, but now I have to wait 12 months to do that. I get no, I could still go buy an SRO, I guess, but
I mean,
I like the XLs, dude. I think the Vortex Defender. I think they built a damn good dot. Something goes wrong, they're super good to replace it. And by all accounts, everything that I've heard is they've been just a workhorse, and I love them for that. I think they're great. I put one on my AO1 because I think it's such a great gun or a great optic. And so but it is hard to deny the fact that the SRO is still the workhorse, and it just keeps chugging along.
yeah, there's a handful of great dots like the 507 comps are good. Those have a good track record behind them as well. But like if you play that game to the nth degree, then you run into like the RMR. Like why not just put an RMR on everything because it's going to run forever and it's going to be great. But no matter what happens or what you're carrying, um, the backup irons eventually have their place of you can double check to see if there's any parallax in your optic because you can line up the iron sights and cant your head and move it into different positions and see if there's actually any parallax under the dot. They're always there if you get in a weird position. They're always there to help you index and strong hand, weak hand. If you find yourself lonely floating out there, they're there to help you get back on target. So there's a lot of good reasons for that. There's definitely a lot of guns that have completely sidetracked that option. Like the Canuck's one of those where like when you remove the the iron sights,
optic plate, it
the
comes
optic
with it.
plate,
Yeah.
yeah, they're on there. The Sig P320s, we're doing that on some of their models. So
But here's the thing: is I think I could get away with like I don't know what the co-witness terms are, but like something less than lower third co-witness, right? Like if I can just see them there at the bottom, like I think there are several dots that have a little bit of a notch in the back
mhm.
in the center, and you
Right.
could even just put white lines there, right? Because you're not looking for some precise aiming device. This is the backup, so a couple of lines, or like I think it's the Vortex Defender. It has a slight dip, right, in the center.
Yeah.
It's pretty wide, right? But again, what are you looking for here? You're just looking to confirm that you're not crazy, basically, with your dot dying,
Right.
and if you need to use it.
Yeah, my Shadow 2. I know some people take the front sight off of it and they replace it with a just this little replacement cap. I keep the front sight on there, and I can basically I my index is such that I can just see the tippy top of that front sight, and I have
Yeah.
enough information to center it on the back of the SRO,
See, and I think that's
and
sufficient. I think that's what I
that's
would
all I
want
really
too,
need.
actually. So the couple, what, like a month and a half ago, on my PDP steel frame, the front sight came off. Like it started coming off. I took it off the rest of the way, right? But it's a Glock sight, so I
Right.
was thinking I wouldn't want a fiber optic up front or anything, but just like a black blade would be perfect.
Yeah.
I see so many people that are shooting a dot and they have a fiber optic front sight on there, and I'm like, why? They're like, well, it came with it, and I'm like, well, take it off. Well, what if I need it? You
Yeah.
won't. And even if you do, I
It's
mean,
still the sight's
that
still
red
there.
fiber is just still
Like that's what
freaking
I always
bouncing
just
all
cut the
over.
red fiber out, right? Like so
Yeah,
on my
me too.
Canics, they have a front fiber. I just cut the fiber and leave the blade in.
It,
Me too. Yeah.
what's funny is with the Glocks or with the Walthers, you can get the gun MOS or the optics plate. You can buy a pair of black Ameriglows, throw them on, try to get the height right, or you could just literally save money and go get a Smith and Wesson M&P that's got the 3 dots, tall sights from the factory, black them out, and then like you're already rolling from the factory right off the bat. It has all the optics plates and everything that you would possibly need to
Wait, so
mount
you're telling
everything.
me you're buying an MMP now?
No, I'm
Is that
very
what you're
happy.
selling?
I'm very happy with my Glock 17 and my Glock 26.
Wait,
But there's
last we talked, I thought you had a Beretta or something.
oh, I have everything, man. Like I went out to the shooting. I went out to the range yesterday with Alex and my son Mike. And we go out there and we're shooting, and of course, like Alex hasn't seen the Mark 23 and Michael hasn't shot the Mark 23, and so we go out there and shoot it. Me and Alex are shooting it, and we sat there, and you shoot it, and with that gun, you know what's like when you miss with that gun, you're like, yeah, that's exactly where I saw the sights because the damn thing is so freaking accurate. You're just like, okay, that's real. Like sometimes when you're shooting a gun, you're just like, what was that? The Mark 23, like it's just like missing by like a little bit left or a little bit right, and you're like, okay, like that's 100% me. And then of course like I hand it to Mike, and Mike's sitting there shooting it, burning up some 45 up in the air and just like knocking plates down like crazy and shooting steel with it. It's this huge 45 caliber gun. But like after that, even like me and Alex, we shot like a T-Rex Arms 50 round drill with I shot my 17, he shot his 47, and I just remember like shooting that last night and just being like, I feel exactly what's happening. Like I feel me doing things wrong, and I'm like, I cannot stop this in the process because I haven't shot a whole lot in the past like 2 years, and I'm sitting there like shooting this, and I'm just like, man, my right hand's really really loose, and it seems to be squeezing the gun every time I pull the trigger. I should probably stop that, but like, yeah, it was nuts. But I'm sticking with the Glocks for a while till I can figure out till I can shoot again. Is pretty much the theme. I'm sticking with the Glocks till I can shoot again.
Did you get your 115 grain bullets?
They're showing up. My thing is to make the 8-year-old and the 12-year-old little girl go like, oh, can you bring in that box for me? And then just watch them struggle over 4,115 grain bullets.
Just tell them to not get it with their clothes, because whatever that gray dust is that comes from the back of the FedEx truck, I have no idea.
Yeah, the it's all the aluminum and dust from the belts and stuff like that just accumulates. But yeah, went out there, shot with it. Super proud of my son. Like he just shoots everything and just knocks down everything that he can see. Like 40-yard shots, whatever. He can sit there and shoot it. And so it was pretty cool. But just trying to like after like feeling out stuff, we went back and we shot some B8s, and then it took me a while to kind of get like aligning everything up and putting stuff on the black where I wanted to. I even had like this my Glock 26 when I installed the optic plate that's from Vortex. Vortex is kind enough to send you a MOS optic plate. I put the wrong screws in, so I put like a slight bent in the plate, and then I didn't have another plate, so I went and zeroed it. Called Vortex. They sent me a new plate. I put it on there, and then when I'm sitting there shooting that gun, it's like shooting low by like 8 inches, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, that's right. I mounted it on a plate that was like bent like this, and so like just re-zeroed it. But yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. I was happy to get out there and mess around with the blasters. So it was a good time.
That's awesome.
Let's talk to Kevin about his a little bit more of his nationals experience besides having a dot that doesn't work and then being sucked into buying a Romeo.
Well, I was in beautiful Columbus, Ohio, where the monsoon season's going on. But thankfully, we had waterproof targets and waterproof pacers, and it didn't rain on me one day. So
Oh, so the ones they ordered last year finally showed up.
I don't know. They had them. No, so the first day, right? I shot first stage. Like I wasn't bummed at all, right? Like I'm like, this is outside of my control. All I got to do is just go shoot my match. So I proceeded to have in that zone, I had two top 20, like top 15 stage runs and a stage win,
Hell yeah.
which I was super proud of that. Not There's a lot of good shooters there, right? So myself included. Thank you very much. So I went throughout the rest. I shot pretty consistent, dang consistent the rest of the time. I ended up 35th in carry optics, and with those two misses from the dot getting cleared out, if I give me an Alpha Charlie on that, that's 9 places in the match, right? So
Oof.
Yeah.
it's a big adjustment for just that small thing, right? If I'd done that, which clearly I didn't, right? But that'd have been 26. So I'm super happy with my performance at the match, right? Like there's not a lack of skilled shooters there. So, but it was fun. I mean, super warm in the PM with high humidity for a guy from the desert. It's like oppressive to me. Like the heat doesn't bother me, but it just doesn't go away. The shade doesn't matter, right? So stayed
It's the
hydrated though. I
humidity
didn't.
that just
Yeah,
It
it
sucks.
sticks to you.
sucks it out of you. But I was happy not to have rain, right? Like there were a few. I think the AM squad had rain uh, on 2 days, I think, um, and they had a delay on the squad or on the staff had a delay for rain, but my squad shot didn't have any delays, didn't have any rain. I think we had sprinkles for a second, but it was gone, right? So super good match. I mean, the stages were pretty simple, I would say. Like they weren't complex, but definitely there was not a lack of challenge there, right? Like to separate people and shooters. So I think it'd have been nice to have some more hardcover maybe, but yeah, I understand the reasoning. I guess they had to pre-plan for that a little more, and I don't think they did with the targets. So the waterproof targets they can't paint or something like that, and so
Oh yeah, like I would imagine you'd have to buy them from the factory in the
yeah,
configuration that they are. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So we had,
Interesting.
I mean, they had some hardcover, like steel hardcover, and then they had some no shoots. The matchbook was not nearly. Uh,
The matchbook looked potato.
well, yeah. So the match was fine though, but the matchbook there were some of the stages that were super different, which I don't fault them necessarily for that though. They've been to that range enough; they should be able to make it match enough. Because sometimes you go in the future and you're trying to double check like what stage was this, and you look at the matchbook and you're like, I don't even remember this stage, right? And it's so far different that you're like, oh, they must have had to do something crazy here to change it. But good match. Awards was the same as last year, Robert, and the year before. It
Oh,
was
really?
lackluster. The
Yeah.
food was not great. Like
Basically, you have to go anywhere else after the match to get something decent
except
to eat.
except for White Castle, that's where you don't go after
No,
White Castle.
no, that was the first
No,
and
they
last
had
time I'll
the
ever go to that place.
here's the visual representation you need for Nationals banquet dinner. They had the peas and carrots that your cafeteria had that looked like they had been there for the last 12 hours. That the peas were kind of yellow
Mm-hmm.
and the carrots were kind of brown. And you're like, I'll pass. I'm good. I don't need
Yeah.
those. So
You
I
know,
ordered
there's
pizza when I got back to the Airbnb.
Hell
I
yeah.
I would rather I show up and there's just like 47 Costco pizzas than like have you like fake
Exactly.
attempt a meal like
Yep.
yeah.
Look, it's super hard to mess it up. Just get some ground beef, some steak, tortillas, and pico. People would be happy with that, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to mess up tacos, right? Just make tacos. Whatever they're doing, I don't know what it costs or who's getting a kickback or something, but it's just not great. It's almost not even worth having.
I'm just going to
I
show up
think the
with a
hard, I think the
catering
The
hardest.
truck.
food, the food, the banquet is cool.
I'll show up with a catering truck and I'll just make like, 9 pounds of hamburger helper, cheeseburger, macaroni, and I'll just sell that for like $5. Here's a big bowl of this
Yep.
stuff. It's $5. Chow it down. Keep going.
It was super
I
cool
think
though.
I think I'll go with the banquet food over the hamburger helper. Thank
Oh,
you very
The
hamburger
much.
helper
hamburger helper was
sometimes,
great.
dude. It's so good.
No, no,
It's so
no.
It's the
good.
spot.
No, hamburger helper is the food
Salty,
you eat
cheesy
when
meat
you're
and noodles.
broke
Come
ass
on.
pouring in college.
Oh man, you put
What do
some
you,
good beef in that. Oh, dude, it's a.
oh,
Sometimes you make it with
oh,
some Italian
There,
sausage, dude. That's like now
no,
you're
there
talking
is
about
nothing you
peak.
can do. Okay, if you want to make hamburger helper good, what you do is you get the hamburger and you get that seasoned up really nice, and then you put all the mix and stuff into it, get it all there, get it all ready to prepare, and then you take the pan and you dump it in the trash because that's what hamburger helper is. That is poverty ass food, and I will not eat that shit
Hamburger
ever
help,
again in my life.
hamburger helper.
Ah.
No
making
poverty.
me feel bad. That's what I had as growing up. Like maybe twice a week we had
Oh,
hamburger
I
helper.
loved hamburger.
What are you
Hamburger.
saying?
There,
I was
there,
poor.
there, there was a Jeff Foxworthy joke where he did stand up, and he said like we were so poor we couldn't afford the meat, we just had helper, and I'm like, dude, that hits way too close to home because that was us.
I remember
It
like
sucked.
on a good time when I was a kid that we'd have hamburger helper. Tuna helper is the real poor one because that one you don't
Oh,
even have beef and you don't need to even cook it. But man,
but the coolest thing at the banquet, uh, I'm sure many people heard of this, but Hunter Constantine was doing a belt bounty. So if you shot the match from concealment, you had a placement, right? Based off of the other shooters doing concealed. And, it was dang cool to get the hype. They gave him the mic and let him introduce everybody and talk about it. And, people got their fat stacks of cash. So I think like first place was like $3,000 and it was all in ones, right? So he
yeah.
had the stacks,
So it
so
looks
he got like
huge.
three stacks of, ones and it looks cool. And that was super hyped up. So that was cool to see some
That's
excitement.
the
I'd love to see other brands doing stuff like that, right? Like, because realistically, the cost there is minimal for those shooters that are winning, right? Like, you do the top three. I think he did top three in each division if there were certain quantities or blah blah blah. But set the criteria, and yeah, like Justine got High Lady for the belt and third place from concealed, and so she ended up with 3 grand, right? I think, and it's just like it brought some hype to the event that was otherwise missing, So
well, that's the funniest thing. I mean, because like we always joke that like nobody's that's going to lead into something. Nobody's going to take home the Mary Kay pink Cadillac. Like, there's no money in this thing. But I mean, Hunter's actually doing something that legitimately people like. Justine came out more ahead than Christian Sailor,
yeah,
and you're like, okay, that's weird. But you know, this is not me advocating for that we should pay the number one, two, three slots. I think that's bullshit.
I don't think
But
USPSA should. But like if people want to
but if
incent
brands,
no, but
but
if
if Walther wants to say, hey, top Walther shooter
yeah,
gets
well they
X,
used to.
and giving it the match,
That's
right?
what
Like,
got every like
mhm,
back when they were coming out with the was it the PPQ and they wanted to get into practical
mm,
shooting like 2015 2016 they had like their shooters reward and it was like get first place B class in a major match we'll send you a $500 check and that got a lot of people jumping on the Walther bandwagon to go shoot that match like if manufacturers wanted to do it and see like have great competitors carrying their gun,
mhm.
they could literally pay the bounty to do that. I mean, like all shooting programs go away. Like they had like Sig had their big like oh we're gonna have this massive shooting team and we're gonna send them all checks and stuff when the P320 came out and they all of a
Well, at
sudden
this point, I think Sig's gonna have a going out of business sale.
well the
I started,
whatever they come out with again we'll see what happens but
What I
lit
said.
they literally did this thing where like you all of a sudden you had people coming out of nowhere talking about how good the SIG P320 was, and then it turns out they were all on the shooting team, and so I definitely think the bounty thing because it's like you look at it and it's just like all right well if like I'm some A class guy and I take second I can get a $350 check, and you know what that's better than first overall. Like there's either companies could literally do this where like if I shoot this belt and carry this gun and shoot this optic and if I do somewhat well I can come out with a few grand. But
and two, it was the hype of the event, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a big aspect of it was that, like, hey, I've got fat stacks of cash, right? Not that it was seriously that much money. One of those stacks, $1,000, still looks dang cool, right? So doing that in front of everybody at the banquet, be like, nice, great work, right? Shot from concealment, but you could do that with anything, right? And it made it exciting. Whereas, normally it's, Jake or whoever up there trying to eat the microphone announcing over a crappy PA system that people can't hear, A class winner of this. And I just don't know. There's no hype
Yeah,
around the,
that stuff's horribly boring.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of the funny thing. Like when you do awards and stuff like that, if you put the prize table first, nobody sticks around for awards because awards is boring as frick. It just is. I'm sorry, unless you actually won something, and I think that's awesome for you. I legitimately do.
awards
But
are only
outside of that,
good.
I'm like, I don't care about high D. Well, actually, I like the high D class people because I think that's pretty cool. But the high Gs and stuff like that, so yeah, we expect Christian to win.
Well,
We just do.
the thing is with the awards is it only doesn't it's only boring now because everyone knows how everything shook out 40 minutes before the awards. Like if you didn't have an arbitration period, if you didn't have an arbitration period and you literally said, "All right, here are the awards," and then you gave the order, and then 30 minutes after the awards were done, they sent you the results were released to everybody, then people would think it would be interesting. But when you know everything, it's like you're watching an American Idol and you're just like, by the way, Clay Aiken takes second, Ruben takes first. And
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, shit. Like, what else will you want
Hmm.
to do? Is there any more
Sure.
hamburger helper
Well,
left over?
maybe there is some truth, right? Because like the Hunter Constantine stuff, like he was doing some things on his Instagram to like at the end of day one, like here's who's leading, right? But unless you were part of it, you didn't really know in the scores who had won it because there was no Hunter
Yeah.
Constantine belt category,
Well,
right? Like,
the one
so you didn't know until the event happened.
what USPSA is looking for, which is kind of weird, like USPSA and USPSA shooters are they're looking for sponsors. Like USPSA is looking for sponsors to help them put on the match and then give them money and stuff to give away at the match. And what probably should be done is like they should be looking at what cash prize or what event they're wanting to put on for the shooters. Like who gives a crap if it's the USPSA Factory Gun Nationals brought to you by Sig Sauer? And it's just like, well, what does this mean for anybody? Nothing. Or what if it's like it's literally like some other place that's like, hey, this is the Safari Land Open. And it's just like, what do? We show up here and we give stacks of cash for like the first 10, and there's one division. Well, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a flood of shooters trying to compete in that one division and doing that and then walking away with the cash. Because honestly, like if any one of these companies had it together and just went out there and went like hired, we need a practice score guy, we need a match director, we need a group of people to put it on the ground, they would have much bigger events than what USPSA could possibly probably come up with a lot more prestige. And that's what like a lot of those older events used to be, like a Soldier of Fortune and the Bianchi Cups and the Second Chance body armor shootouts and stuff like that. Like that's what those were. So
Well, and I don't bring any of that up to bag on it, right? Like I think it was a good event. I think the org's moving in a bit of a better direction. I think
Yeah.
next year it'll be somewhere else. We got Race Gun Nationals coming up here in Utah in October, I think. So
Well,
hopefully we can find a
you'll
slot to
have
that.
race
And
gun in Marengo back in Ohio, and then factory will be in St. George,
nice.
and so should be good. I mean,
yeah, go Kevin. Is he going to take out the DWX or is he going to stick with the PPQ? I mean the PDP.
I really think I'll probably switch to the DWX. Like I said, the only thing holding me back there is I need to buy another one. I don't like. I've never had a problem with a gun, but there's so limited parts availability, like aftermarket stuff, and you have to send your gun back to get it fixed if anything breaks. Like they won't send you parts. That I don't know that I would want to have one gun riding on a nationals.
oh, for sure.
So I'd have to
Yeah.
buy
It's
another one. I only have
it's
one,
funny
but
this week.
albeit they're pretty cheap. They're only $1,800, right? So it's not cheap like a Glock, but for a limited optics gun, that's pretty dang cheap.
Yep.
It's funny this week at the new shooter match. It turned into kind of a regular match. Shelly was there, and she and a handful of the ladies from like a girl and a gun. And I ended up asking them, like, why do you guys all have all these like staccatos and stuff like that? And I'm sitting here thinking like, maybe their husbands bought her stuff like that, but she's like, no, it's um because she this other lady, she actually, so Cindy, got one. She actually got one at like half off. She got a really good deal on one. So she goes out and she buys this XC, and then she takes it to the chapter meetings, and all the ladies start shooting it. And Cindy's sitting here trying to say, okay, you need to look at these other guns because they're more reasonably priced. But the ladies pick up the staccatos and are like, yeah, this thing shoots really nice, so we're going to splash the cash for it. And it's that simple, right? I mean, like people, it's just, it still just blows my mind that you have new shooters. And Shelly, I mean, she's a very high level shooter. She shot the tactical game and came in second place, so she's very good. But it's just funny to me. You see all these new shooters showing up with just like serious money and kit. And I'm just like, I don't get it. My first gun was a Glock 19, and I thought that was big money at the time.
The other alternative I'm looking at is the Staccato P4.5 HD, because I
Oh,
actually
right.
wanted to do a guide ride for that, and so I've never shot one. I didn't shoot the 4-inch either, but I
Good
I
news.
do like to test all of my product myself, and so
It comes with
that,
backup irons,
that's a thought.
so you'll
That
have
is
that.
that too.
You'll
That
have
is
that
that too.
going for you. The sight block
It's a
that
nice
doesn't need
gun.
it. Yeah, I mean, like
I
the limited optics game. There's 8 billion different types of guns you can throw into that category, and it seems like the median price to get into that's $3,500. And but like when you talk about the HD, the 4.5 HD, you're kind of just like, well, that's a very affordable, budget friendly option. You can shoot Glock mags, and it's only like what, $2,500.
I think you're in
I
the 3 grand
legitimately
once you get
think
the right version, or the 4.5 inch and the model, whatever.
Yeah.
USPSA needs to just get with it and say, okay, our next national match is going to be limited optics and carry optics, and that's it. And then let's see what people actually show up with.
See how it shakes out.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I contend that the guns are so damn good anymore that there's no functional difference. I mean, at this point, you may as well. And I hate that I'm saying this. You may as well just get rid of carry optics, and let people throw a magwell on there and let her rip.
Yep, I concur.
And
Yeah.
I hate that I say that, but it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, I mean
So
that's you kind of must don't need to do that or actually determine anything because with like everything being on practice score, everyone could just what if and see exactly what's going to happen. Like the mystery's out of it. Like you can literally figure out exactly how everyone would stand even on a national level. You just download it to your practice score app, your competitor app, and then sort it all out
hmm
if everyone moves around. So what should be kind of, if we're gonna have this, we should. I honestly believe we should have big matches that are one division, and that would actually.
Well, last year, Carry Optics was super cool, right? Like
Yeah.
it was cool to be part of a match that was just Carry Optics. Everybody
hmm
that was the best shooter in whatever division was coming out because they wanted that title. And
Mhm.
Right.
we got the guys international that came over, and so you really got to see how it shook out.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And
I
turns
get
out the
there's a
international guys are the best.
yeah. Uh, I mean, I think it makes sense, right, to have a nationals that's like production and revolver and stuff because that is a thing is different enough. But you know, the competition numbers, it's like what limited optics, open production, or carry optics are the top three, right?
Yeah.
And then the others are something far less.
The interesting thing would be if you had these nationals, if you had carry optics nationals or LO nationals, but you told everybody you can only enter one.
Mm.
So JJ, you can enter production if you want, but that's all you get. You don't get to show up at any of the rest. I'm I'm not saying they'd ever do this, but I'm very curious to see what they would all coalesce around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know there's some high level shooters right now that are like, well, I can't exactly compete like I could 5 years ago. And so if I go hang out in this hider division, maybe I'll stand a chance and my name can be on the leaderboard. And since nobody really knows the difference between L10 and limited optics, they just see national champion behind my name. That's going to mean something.
Well, and the other thing is too is like there's going to be a lot of what they're trying to market their gun into. The one thing, the crazy thing with that would be like all um limited optics type shooters who are sponsored by limited optics guns just being like flooded into that. Like that's gonna wherever the market's sponsoring people, that's where people are gonna flood into. Like whatever Beretta's new 92 is gonna be, that's where JJ's gonna be because they're not there to go out there and shoot their match and do whatever. Like if they're told they're gonna go out there and promote whatever gun, what is that? The new 92 FS defensive carry optics model competition ready, like whatever it's going to be, that and that's where he'll be. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
So, Robert, pink Cadillac story.
Pink Cadillac story. So, at the match yesterday, right, we had the shooters meeting and stuff like that, and Adam Reiser was there, and he like we're doing everything, and he says, "Hey, I just want to take a second and let you guys know, like we have over 150 people that are shooting this match." And I don't, some of you guys don't really understand how big of a deal that is because you go around the country and like most matches are like 25, 30 people and that's who shows up. And he says, a bunch of the reason that we have all these people here is because Robert's been running these new shooter matches for a long time. And he said, right, he said, it's like Robert always says, have fun because at the end of the day, nobody's taking home the Mary Kay Pink Cadillac. But today, Roberts gets a Mary Kay Pink Cadillac, and he gave me a little die-cast Mary Kay Pink Cadillac. And I tell you what, that is probably the coolest thing I've ever gotten from USPSA because the new shooter match is really what I love, and I think that's just awesome.
And Robert even got to apply a tourniquet to somebody, and so that's in high praise.
Yeah, right.
That's up there. That's up there. Well, awesome.
So that was fun.
Awesome. Well,
yeah.
If you
well, thanks, Robert. Seriously, like I texted this, but a big reason that the sport is what it is in Utah is because of you, and it's awesome.
Thanks, man.
And he's the reason why everyone has to sign up on Sundays now instead of waiting around till Friday evening going, yeah, well, I guess the schedule's clear enough. I guess I'll enter. I'll shoot the match. We'll see what's happening.
Hey, it's a major. It's major match stakes now, right? Like you got to get in there and get your slot registered for Slipsa.
Yeah, be on the right squad. Just try to get there. It still
telling
flows
you that's
perfectly
been
well.
super stressful for me, by the way, right? Because I've been shooting with my kids, and so I'm trying to register 3 people and get them all in the same squad.
Yeah.
It's a pain in my ass.
Yeah, that there's got to be. I mean, you could always just call up the match director and be like, because he'll give you a pre-registration code. I mean, they'll let you get into it.
I mean, the problem is I just can't. I almost could never shoot with any of the kind of friends I want to shoot with. Right? I just pick whatever squad has enough slots that I can get it filled, which is fine. Like I'm super happy and stoked that my kids want to come shoot. Right? Like so.
Totally. Yeah.
I do miss shooting with friends a bit, but it's worth it because I don't know. I say shooting with friends a bit because I think every squad I shoot on, like there's people I know and like and get along well with, so it's not like it's that bad, right? But definitely something for me is important to have shooters that are shooting at a high level to prepare myself to shoot at these higher level matches, right? Like if you're not shooting with some of the high level guys, sometimes you just miss things that you're kind of gauging yourself against something that isn't up to par, I guess, with what you're trying to aspire to.
Yeah. No, and I get it. It makes sense. I mean, I know anymore. I've had so much fun, but I mean, I like taking pictures, and that's kind of how I stay relaxed between when I shoot. But I've had so much fun just bouncing on and off different squads and just taking pictures of people. And ironically, I've figured out that's how I don't over stress about the match. Is I constantly doing something else. But I love popping all these different squads and because there's so many people. And the funny thing is like there's tons of people that at this point that I've met through the new shooter match and through the armory and stuff like that. And it's fun. I mean, Slips is great right now. I mean, we are certainly at the high water mark of shooting. I mean, there's so much cool stuff going on. Although, actually, I didn't tell you about this. So 223 is now banned at Slipsa.
Just when I was buying a new upper. Damn the luck.
So poor Lance, he created this really cool thing, this black rifle match, and he had his inaugural match last week, and they at the match there was a shooter there who it was the last stage of the day. He's a left-handed shooter, and I still don't understand how he did it, but he managed to ND 2 rounds out of the range because he stuck his finger through the trigger guard to try and drop the mag or something, or it, like makes no sense. But 2 rounds, I mean, it's not like boom, boom. It was like bam, bam, like basically straight up. Well, straight up enough, and he yeets it out of the range. And it, this is the same guy that at the previous 3 gun match he put a shotgun round into the jail stage, into the jail of the jail stage, and so he shouldn't have been shooting there in the first place. But whatever it happens. The thing that was bad about the whole thing, which I think probably is what really pissed most people off about it, because now the Slips of board, the big salty board, I should say, just decided that we're not going to allow 223 in competition um, for the foreseeable future. We're going to revisit it. We'll look at it. We'll try and get it back. But this guy, when the match director comes over and he's like, "What happened?" And the guy's wife is shooting with him, and she goes and lies, and she's like, "Oh, it wasn't that big of a deal." Meanwhile, like the rest of the squad are like, bro, that dude just torched 2 rounds out of the range." And so she's sitting there lying for him, and then he, um, I've always said, when 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 you get DQ'd for something, you should there. It's not the DQ; it's how you handle it. Like if you get DQ'd, there should be a level of contrition, like, "Oh shoot, I really really screwed up." In his case, it's like, "Meh, it happens." You should expect that kind of thing at a match like this.
No,
No,
well, well,
no,
what
no. You should no.
you shouldn't.
You
And
should feel
like
bad about your life choices.
the amount of obfuscation from people that I see do shady shit on the range in the past 10 years has gone up exponentially. Where people break the 180, fire something, jump because they didn't realize the gun was going off, and then continue shooting the stage. Like, what do you mean? I meant to shoot this. What's going? No, like that kind of stuff is just. I remember when you used to be able to look at a shooter and say your finger was in the trigger, you're DQ'd, and they'd be like they might like try to argue with it, or to be like, nope, sorry, your finger is in the trigger, you're DQ'd, and that would be like, okay, like I'll work on that. And now it's like you don't even want to like look at a person and go like your finger's in the trigger because well they just broke the 180 2 stages ago, but we let them keep on going on. And then it's just like, well, the new safety standard for a lot of people is just like, well, are we really gonna let me go? I've seen worse, and that's what people's thing is. And so like now it's like the it's kind of like now when you're out there and you're shooting a stage or whatever, and you see somebody and they like clearly mic, and you just like, no, you missed it. Where they're like, no, I think it's probably two or whatever like that. It's like, no, you shot in between the two targets, and that's why there's one bullet hole here. That's what happened. And then you like say it as somebody, as you know, your 15, 17 years of experience in the sport. You go like, no, you shot a mic. Take the mic and move on with your day.
Mm-hmm.
But like that kind of
Somebody
attitude,
who shoots majors that way.
yeah, like you know,
It
the people
was like
who
I was talking
go ahead.
I was talking to a friend last night, and it was just like, like, because like you take pictures, and like I have my little folder. I have this folder that I keep all the DQs and stuff in. Well, they're not DQs. I just take the pictures, but it's interesting to me, and we were talking about it. And it's like somebody goes, for me to call a 180 break, it's really 190, because like usually by the time because like you'll see people, our stages are set up so that you're seeing people and they're bringing the gun back on the parallel. There's a little bit of a blip, and it's like, did I just see what I see? And I'm like, you're always like, okay, if I don't know, then we don't call it. And it's gotten to the point where now it's like more of a 190 before the thing actually gets called, because oh, now I really really saw it.
Yeah, it's but what happens? So like, when you let that stuff go for years and years and years, and everyone kind of goes, well, it didn't really have it didn't who did it really affect? Like, who would it really affect? And it's like, well, now we can't shoot rifles in competitions. And so, like,
Well, and
that's,
that's the thing.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like they now. I mean, it's now this person did this. That sucks. And but now their actions have now made it so that nobody else gets to do this again.
yeah. Well,
And it's like, well, yeah.
well, it's,
Well, no, I just the take being lax on 180 brakes to me is like, here's what happens. Somebody dies. That's what you
Yep.
end up happening, right? When you get super lax on it. And is that super rare? Yeah, but I don't want anybody to die at a match, right? Like that's shouldn't even be part of the discussion. So if you break the 180, you just need to own it. And the RO called it, you're
well,
out. And like, I want to be sure of the call when I call somebody, DQ them for breaking the 180, right? But it's
Hmm.
not a it's a if I don't know that it was 180, then I'm not going to call it, right? Like if I can't see it because it's obscured by a body or something, I don't feel comfortable calling it. But if I'm in the correct position to see it very clearly and it's 181, I'm calling it, right? Like,
That's fine.
yeah, well, like 180 breaks. I get like they're serious. Listen, I'm not saying it's like, hey, fentanyl kills kids. But my number one concern isn't fentanyl. Like 180 breaks are like that sucks. Like I don't like guns being pointed at me. The one thing that
Hmm.
bugs the shit out of me now is the poor gun handling and people running around with their fingers in the damn trigger guards. Because now all the triggers are lighter. They're much lighter. They have much less travel, and the gun handling has been poor ever since. Like if we really enforce fingers in the trigger guards, or the appearance of fingers in trigger guards when they're not actually in the trigger guards, um, we would probably have like 10 DQs because there's people who have grown up in the past, I would say 5 to 7 years of shooting, 7 years and to today, who may have a high skill level, but their gun handling skills while prosecuting a stage are not very good. Like I was very happy with my son yesterday. Like I'm sitting there talking to him, and I ask him, "Hey, shoot the suppressor off in the dirt, just so we can see how quiet it is." And so he's
Oh,
and he moves and he goes,
I thought
"What?"
you were saying like shoot the suppressor off
No.
in the dirt like they did with the old rifles.
Yeah. So I said, like, shoot the gun off into the dirt so we can see how quiet the suppressor is. And he didn't hear me, and I said it again. And as he turned back, I saw his finger come up on the trigger guard as he came out of the trigger, and then he went back and to shoot the gun. And I think what we as we kind of forgot the martial aspect of the sport, we also forgot the safety gun handling martial aspect of the sport is like, why do we not have our fingers in the trigger, so we don't accidentally shoot things that we don't want to shoot, that we ID things that we don't want to shoot.
Right.
When we fall and eat shit, we don't send the gun off and shoot. And now the attitude is like, well, if I fall with the gun and the gun goes off, it must have been the gun's fault or the aftermarket accessory parts I put in it. That's why the gun gun went off. It's just,
Oh, did you see that video that came out last week? The guy he was shooting in. We actually posted it in the PARAcast thing, but the guy he's shooting at this club in Hawaii, and he was. I don't know if it was his first or his second time, but I mean, he was really bad with the gun handling. And by the time they actually DQ'd him, it was because he shot around the right side of a barricade, goes to move forward, trips, stumbles, and he NDs the gun within like 2 feet, right in front of him. And then everybody yells stop or whatever. He stands up and he at least has the presence of mind to point the gun down, but he's now walking back up range with the gun up range. And you're just like, yeah, that's a
yeah.
problem.
Well, the thing is like, if that guy was DQ'd and that guy sat there and said, well, I'm never shooting USPSA again. These are a bunch of safety freaks. They're assholes. Like, good. Like, we don't want you here in the first place. Like, we don't need you. Like, we don't need those kind of
Well,
people. We don't need the people who need correction. And we don't need the people who have, quote unquote, get this, kids, bad sportsmanship. At the beginning, when we got into sports and everyone was like learning how to baseball, when you throw the bat because you strike out, that's called bad sportsmanship. We don't want you around. If you keep your finger in the trigger or break the 180 and we DQ you and you throw a fit, guess what? We don't want you around. Can you bitch about it to your friends? Absolutely. Can you go to the match director and say, like, listen, like, this happened, but I think it's really been taken out of place? And he goes, still DQ'd. You go, like, all right, I'll take my lumps. I'll go off and I'll come back where they can never do that to me again because I've gotten so much better. But like we've now embraced lies, unsportsmanlike conduct, and unsafe actions.
Well, we also now have video evidence, so we can burn them with that.
Yeah, but like back
The
in
hard the hardest thing about fingering the trigger is this is an IDPA where you go to a position, stand there for a little bit, and then you shoot something. The amount of movement and things like that we have inside of this sport where people are it's not their fingers in the trigger, they're prepping the trigger to break the wall plane to take the shot. And that gray area of finger in the trigger versus prepping to break the wall plane is a really hazy area. And I know exactly what you're saying, Tommy, and I agree. I mean, like when we talk about finger in the trigger, we're all thinking of that dude who's running around just like finger in the trigger, and
Yeah,
that's
or
what we always
reloading
think
with
of.
his
And
finger in
that
his
is,
trigger. Like that's the one thing
oh
that I
yeah,
just see the most. It's just like you're conducting a reload. I can tell because you have a magazine in one hand and the other
right,
magazine fell out of the gun in the other hand. This is not
yeah,
the
and I
time.
can show you with all my pictures that I go through. I can show you tons of situations where people have fingers in the trigger, and some of them I'm like, okay, I remember where they were on that stage, and they were definitely coming into this position to shoot around a wall. Okay, that makes sense. But there's other times where it's like, no, that'd be a Tommy DQ,
Well, the
like 100%.
You're just running with your finger in the trigger there.
well,
Yeah.
and
It never even came out.
I don't think the USPSA rule is where you call finger in the trigger and you get a DQ as an excuse not to sit there and tell people their fingers in the trigger, because we've spent years with
IDPA
people.
IDPA rule is the best way.
Well,
It flat out is the best way.
we don't even need IDPA's rule. We have a rule that says if you break the 180, you go home. But many people break the 180, and we say, hey, don't do
No, but
that.
people are afraid. People don't want to issue a DQ, so they'll never call it. They'll never call a finger in the trigger guard. If they get a procedural and then they're done, that's something that people will be more inclined to do it, because right now the best you can hope for, if they don't get a DQ, the best you ever hope for is they pull them off to the side and like, dude, your fingers in the trigger, you need to solve that. And they're like, oh man, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
Not a problem, dude. Solve it for the next stage.
If I can unofficially not see a 180 break, I can unofficially tell somebody your fingers in the trigger and you'll get DQ'd.
Sure.
But I think that really is part of club culture, and I don't know how it. I think as you get a club the size of Slipso, that becomes harder to ingrain, right? Like up at Caps, it's a small enough group of people. Any squad I'm on, I don't care if I don't know the guy. If I see him doing something like that, I'm gonna grab him afterwards. I don't care how many matches he shot, and be like, dude, you're running around with your finger in the trigger guard. Did you know that? And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, you are. You need to fix it. Like I wasn't your RO, but you need to fix it. It's a
Sure.
safety issue. And like, am I a dick for doing that? I don't think
No.
so, right?
No.
And like we shouldn't accept that as the frame of mind, right? Like, why do we want to have this extra level of safety, right? Because we're running around with guns with live ammo in them, right? Let's stay far
Right.
away from the death portion of this, right? Let's do all the fun stuff, stay far, far away, and leave with the same number of holes we came with, right? And
Yep.
if you take that as like I'm a dick because I said something, sorry, maybe you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing is like the rules are made for like situations where you're trying to actually shoot people or not get shot, and these are the rules to keep you safe. The problem is like we sit there and go like, well, since we're in a sport, well, we're doing a sport, we get to kind of cut these rules down and act in a way that we can just kind of be careless because we're in a sport and I'm facing down range. As long as I'm doing that stuff, I'm fine. And it's like, no, because you're actually doing this 10,000 times more. You're shooting more rounds, doing it around more people than any of these combat guys would have ever done. And which means the probability for something going off and being wrong is astronomically higher. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
anyways, if you like to keep your finger in the trigger, don't do it with the Dominate defense belt. You'll look like an idiot. Don't do it with American operator gear equipment. We don't want you wearing that, repping that stuff, and looking like an idiot. But if you want to be a professional, where when Robert takes your picture, you have your finger indexed alongside the frame, so it's clearly outside the trigger guard, being safe and also appearing to be safe at the same time, head on over to American Operator Gear, use promo code PARA10 and save 10% off your Mach 1 speed belt or any of your operator belt needs. They go great with S-Tech pouches. They go great with the Ghost pouches. They go great holding whatever $3,000 blaster you convinced yourself is going to get you the win. Check them out. Dominate Defense. Use promo code PARA10, save 10% off your order. Also, Rune Tactical. Get a +1 in the gun for more fun. Many different models to choose from. Your gun probably has a spring kit and follower kit so that you can get that 23rd or even 24th round in the gun to have that blaster at maximum capacity for those times that your dot dies and you need to index shots off of what you need. What if Kevin didn't have enough rounds to do that?
Also, Root Tactical has some other sweet spring stuff too, right? Like
Yep.
striker springs, replacement striker springs for your Canic, safety plunger springs, like things that you want. Extractor springs for many different guns. So followers, yes, I have those. But other springs you might need to. And the price is great, right? Like it's not like they're expensive.
Nope.
Yeah.
Keep the gun maintained, and then it works. Promo code PARA10. And Kevin Isaac, he owns a company. He makes things out of tungsten.
You could get tungsten guide rods for your P320. Or not. Don't come shoot P320 here. Buy a PDP or something.
Oh, it's funny. Yesterday at the match, I was talking
Promo code
to
PARA10W74. Go ahead.
Well, I was talking to this guy Mason, and he has a CZ-P10. He's telling me how the P10F, the springs on, are different than the P10, the normal P10. And he was like, "This is really weird. It just changed everything." But then he's like, "But then there's actually this guy up in North. He said like Roy or something like at Roy, Utah, who makes these guide rods. And I bought one, and like it works really, really well. And I'm like, you mean Kevin Isaac? Who's that? W74 guide rods? Yeah, that's the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he comes to shoots here a lot. Like, yeah, it makes it work funny. It's so awesome.
Like I have my logo on my jersey, right? Like, so I get people coming up to me like, "Hey, I bought a guide rod last week," and like I package all the orders. Like, this is me. I run this whole business. My kids work for me a little bit. My wife helps me out when I'm traveling for work, but like I package all the orders. So I'm like, that name's familiar. Oh yeah, you bought some batteries last week or something, right? So it's cool to meet people.
No, it was pretty funny. He's like, "Yeah, you gotta point him out." And I'm like, "Well, it's pretty obvious. He wears a shirt with the W74 on the back of it. You'll know it's him."
He's the guy where it's 97 degrees. He's the one with the black shirt. He's
black
over
shirt.
there. Black jersey.
Hey,
cooking.
Guess what? We're all hot anyways. Doesn't matter if I'm wearing black, but you know what? That thing looks slick on camera.
Contrast, baby. Contrast.
That's right.
Also, Telegram. You can ask us for questions. We'll try to give you an answer. And Telegram messaging app, search PARAcast, and then you can find the chat. Robert.
What are some good carry pistol options if you don't want a Glock?
If you don't want a Glock, like we were talking about the subcompact Glock 26. Of course, there's the micro guns, 365, Shield Plus.
I wouldn't get a 365.
I have a 365. No. I don't know if I'd buy another
one,
but it seems fine.
That's the funny thing about SIG with all the stuff that's going on with SIG. I mean, maybe nothing. Maybe there is nothing. Maybe it's all made up.
No, there's something
it's
like
all just much about nothing.
I know, but far beyond.
Just pretend, right? But just hear me out. Maybe it's all bullshit. But at this point, do you really want to even go down that path?
No.
I mean, like all this stuff is going on. I'm just gonna get a Glock. I'm just get a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. I mean, maybe there's nothing wrong with SIG, but there's enough stuff that says there is that I'm like, I'm just gonna get something else. That's kind of how I hear a lot of people talking.
I totally agree with you, Robert. Like, there are some great options, right? Like, so what are the guns you wouldn't recommend that are like of reasonable popularity now, right? Like
M&P.
Hellcat's fine. The M&P is great, right? Like you got the Bodyguard if you want super small, or just the
9C
Shield.
The 9C.
Right? Or like even look at the reviews of the new Taurus stuff, like the Taurus G2C or whatever. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Sky went out of business, so you don't have to buy one of those anymore, and that was something I'd recommend not buying, right?
Yeah.
But there are tons of great options for that kind of ultra compact, full caliber, if you will, 9mm.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that's
carry.
That's the thing is like the one gun that has completely just been ignored, which I've never heard a bad thing about, is like the CZP-10s. The CZP-10s is like, well, no one shoots them. Like they're just off a little bit where no one buys them, and something else just feels slightly better than the CZP-10. But they're affordable. They got a full size, they got a competition model, they're optics ready, they got a compact ported model, they got a subcompact model that's the size of a Glock 26. You can put the same magazines in them. They're got great triggers. There's a lot of that stuff that's still sitting out there for really reasonable money. Go on gun.deals, you can always see some of those. Like there's guns that are probably pretty effective and accurate, like the FN 509s, that you could sit there and find one of their subcompact models to get to work
Yeah,
and get to
but
run.
it's an FN.
Yeah, that's the deal. It's like no, but like
It's the
FN's
downside. It's an FN, and they're just overpriced for everything they do. I don't. It's like nobody has gone to them and said, "Hey, the rest of the world actually has better prices than you on everything."
Yeah, well, the one thing with FN is they're like the HK that no one admires, as far as making a good gun, and they're like Sig is the opposite of FN, whereas like we make guns that feel good that are terrible, and we
And
tell
go
you,
off in your pants.
and they tell you they're fine. FN is less like these guns feel okay, and they work really good, but no one believes us. That's the FN. Like I haven't seen like FN. Like when's the last? Have you ever seen an FN 509 at a match?
Yes, actually,
Once.
I did once. It was at a local,
Once.
and I was shocked.
Yeah.
Not because it's a bad gun, but I was just like, I literally never see these. Like,
This is the
No, when you go and ask the general person, what guns come to mind as a handgun? Nobody says FN.
nobody says FN.
Glock, Springfield, Smith and Wesson, Sig Sauer. They talk about all those guns. Nobody says, "Oh, you know what? The FN's a fantastic firearm."
Yeah,
Nobody talks about it
they're the
because it's
first
so
people.
overpriced that it's not even worth it.
Well, a lot of them aren't even that overpriced anymore. Like everyone's cheaper than the Glock. PDP's cheaper than the Glock. The 320's cheaper than the Glock. You like all those guns, like the 509s, I think are the same price or cheaper than the Glock. The funny thing is like FN's the people who put the optic on the first pistol from the factory on the FNX 45. They did that first. And who do we look for to solve our problems? Not FN. Not them. What's that? What is that? Like you pull up with an FN 509, they'll be like, "Are you poor?" And then you're like, "No, I spent good money. I spent good American money on this." But yeah,
you're making fun of me.
So like I think that I have three guns that I use as carry guns. I mean the CZP-07, the Smith and Wesson Shield, the Gen 2 version with an optic on it, and then I have an LCP in 22 long rifle. And that I know that LCP 22 is a joke, but it's a teeny tiny gun that I can what do you call it, deep carry or whatever they call it. It super goes away. Nobody ever thinks about it, and it's something.
yeah.
It's not the greatest thing in the world. I understand that, but I've yet to find anybody in all the matches I've ever shot that's willing to stand downrange of me shooting a 22. So
Yeah, exactly.
take it for what it's worth, But
Yeah.
I happen to like all those. I'm not Midwest poor, so I have an optic on my shield. I know Andy is gonna swear that you never need one, but that's
I
his
don't have
problem.
one on my concealed carry gun. It's like
I do.
I don't know.
It definitely.
I get the so I have a Glock 17
On one of them, I should say on
that
one
I
of
have
them, I do.
an enclosed emitter optic on, but my P365, which I carry like every day,
Yeah.
it's just irons, right? Like night sights, it's fine, right? Like I kind of wanted to have an optic, but then again, I don't want the hassle, and I know it's not much hassle, right? But it's just like every time I just grab it, I know there's the batteries. You know what I mean?
You
I
can't you can't ever grab the optics ready subcompact or micro compact gun and throw it in the pocket when it has the dot on it. Like you can really get 7-Eleven lazy with a Glock 26 that's iron sights. Like you
Right.
can just be like, what is that? Was this a pocket
It's
for a
gonna go
jacket?
bang. It's fine.
It's like yeah, it's just sitting in your sweater pouch. You're just like yeah. When you have the optic, it kind of takes that option away from it. But like there's a lot of kind of good guns, and there's even a handful of hammer fired guns that would be pretty cool. One of the guns that got discontinued, which would be pretty neat to have, is like a CZ 2075 Rammy. So this is a subcompact CZ75
Good gun.
with the gun, the grip cut off, hammer fire, good lock time, accurate. You can put CZ75 mags in it, and if you're not going to sit there and run it with an optics cut, like it's already there. There's parts galore for the thing. It was literally the Glock 26 of the CZ75 family. So there's a lot you can do.
I give you $1,500 right now. What like kind of super compact, whatever the double stack micro 9 things? What are you buying?
MP Shield Gen 2 with an optic.
I
Straight up. But I mean, I think that's the best gun on the market today. I really do. I think it's just such a fantastically well built gun.
I've been seriously thinking about changing my Sig, not because I dislike it necessarily. I think the trigger is garbage in it. I can shoot it just fine, but I just think it's a trash trigger. And so I've been thinking about switching. I always liked the M&P. When I got the 365, obviously the new double stack M&P wasn't out and didn't have an optics ready version and stuff. So I'll have to consider that. I've been thinking about changing
come borrow
that,
mine.
right?
Like next time, let me know when you come to a match. I'll just let you take mine. You can go shoot it around and have fun time with it and do whatever.
I mean,
you want.
I know I like it.
love
I've taken people to the range to help them pick a gun out, and like tons of people, I'm like, you got to shoot the shield. Just shoot the shield. Just shoot the shield.
Right.
Try it. And then everybody shoots it. And they're like, oh yeah, that's great. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's great.
Yeah, the more I shoot an M&P, the more I'm like, yeah, this is really a fantastic firearm. I mean, almost any of the M&Ps, they work great.
So shooting this, man. So your height over bore on this gun is so much lower than a PDP and mechanics that I've been shooting. Very different recoil dynamic, right? Like, so this is just stock, right? Like I haven't put a guide rod or anything in this yet. I just wanted to fill it out and see if the optic actually stayed on. And I shot it. I'm like, that recoil impulse is just very different, right? Like
it's sharper than
not bad. It's just different, but
it's less sharp than a PDP, more sharp than a Glock, but like not like a Canic or something like that. It returns very fast. It unlocks fast, and
it returns very well, right? Like I was like, and this is I started shooting USPSA with the MP 40, in limited, and I always loved the grip on it. So I don't know. We'll see. Once they come with steel frame mount, I'll probably buy one and shoot that for a while for Care Optics, anyways, for kicks.
Yeah, the M&P series of firearms, even if you're talking about like the 9C, which is just like the not the shield model, but the actual M&P model. When you subcompact that and the bodyguards, like those are very good guns. Springfield Armory, like their Hellcats, they have all different sizes of models for those. Those are all very great guns, and CZ has some great models that you can sit there and throw in. It's for $1,500. Like I would, P30 SK or P2000 SK, a hammered fired gun. I like having a small hammered fired gun, just because I know when you get them shorter, they generally like to stay in lock longer because they have a hammer fall on the gun, so your accuracy will kind of pick up. And some of the guns that have like the Glocks, of course, with their striker systems, like they stay a little bit locked when you're pulling them and releasing them. They have more pressing against them, keeping them in battery. So those are always been really, really kind of just good guns to sit there and have and do it. But of course, not the Glock. So something small, hammer fired, LEM would be great. But yeah, there's all the super cool hammer fire guns have since been really discontinued by all the companies making small striker fired guns.
Because striker fires are cheap and easy to do.
The Walther, what was it? The PPS M2, the tiny small single stack gun. That was a great little pistol.
From Eric Melander, why not invite the spouses on the show and have a couples cast? Let's not.
No.
Andrea still relatively kind of likes me, so let's not.
Let's do that. I'll come on and we can talk about how many primers we have.
Paige has listened to exactly an hour of this show, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Andrea has to walk past the primers.
The other day. She listened to the show, one of the ones I was on. I was like, I'm okay with that. But
yeah.
From Breton, what's the best flavor of Zin and Monster?
All Monster tastes like trash. The Ultra Sunshine or whatever is half decent, but I got to be in a pretty good fix. Zin, I don't get the appeal. Rockstar Recovery Orange. That's the flavor.
Yes, Recovery Orange. Attaboy, right there.
That's the official drink of the PARAcast.
Tucker Carlson do like a taste test of all the Zin pouches recently?
I
Like
have.
I don't do Zen, but I watched the taste test. So he has his own company or whatever, right? But he goes through all the flavors and you just get his feedback of all of them. I think probably 75% he's like, those are disgusting. So I don't know. But I guarantee they all had nicotine in them, so that's what you're going for anyways,
What
right?
one of the things with the Zins is like once you I don't know anybody who has a Zin fix that doesn't get like one every other day. Like they're just
Yeah.
take it out. Few like 30 minutes later, take it out. You know, like I got trained by somebody who had a Zin fix, and like every like 40 minutes, it was just a new piece of Zin coming in there, getting that hit, moving on. So maybe if you could control it, you could use it right before a stage. Get that nicotine hit, get those eyes dilated, get that whole rush, that concentration. Like just pop,
Hey,
just
we're moving the right direction, right? Like we had cigarettes, and then vapes was popular, and then those caused cancer some other way, and now we have just nicotine pouches. We just next it'll just be a shot. You just inject it right into your veins.
yeah, that's what it's going to be. That's what sure. We'll have it that way.
Rockstar Recovery Orange.
Rockstar
I
Recovery.
don't know.
It's
I
the only
like.
way to fly.
There's several
That's the
flavors of
best.
Monster that I like. I like original Monster. I don't drink it anymore. There's too much sugar, and I just don't like how it makes me feel. But I like the flavor of it. I don't know. White Monster. Some of the flavors of Monster are not great, but
None of that
I
carbonated
I
energy
I don't
drinks.
drink them. Yeah, no. Recovery Orange.
Recovery Orange. It's 10 calories or 25 now or whatever.
it is good.
It's
I had
not
one of those the other day. They're good.
it's non-carbonated. Goes down pretty smooth. It's got decent caffeine, not a lot of sugar. Goes good and ice. If you have a little bit left over in your canteen and you fill it up with water, you just get like this nice little orangeade aftertaste. It's
It's
good stuff.
crazy. Like I remember in high school, right? So I was going to my like one of my first football practices or something in high school, and I this is like the summer that Surge came out.
Oh yeah.
The drink Surge.
Yeah.
Just to place this in time for you. I
hmm
had my first Red Bull. And you know what? It was like the 8-ounce Red Bull or whatever the first flavor that
Yeah.
came out, the small
hmm
cans. And it's like, I don't know, it was like 100 milligrams of caffeine. That wired me like crazy. Now, Monster has 160 milligrams. In my mind, that's a lot, right? Like, that's a ton of caffeine because it is a lot of caffeine. But like, you start looking at the list now, it's like Celsius, like all these, it's 200 plus. Like,
200.
there's what is there
hmm
ones like 360 or something like that? I'm like,
Yeah,
holy
cuz no
crap.
one
Like, that's like,
no one gets a hit off that. I remember having like I was like, "Oh man, I'm
they've
really
developed the
tired."
tolerance.
Here's well, yeah. The first time I had a Rockstar, I think I got like a Ghost Recon Wildlands, you know, and I played it till like 3 a.m. and then I went to work and I was just like, "Dad, I feel like shit. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do." And I walk into a Walgreens and I'm like, "All right, like." I think people who have these things are idiots and they're weak, but like I'll try this. And I had a Rockstar Recovery Orange, like first taste right off the bat. So I drank that, and I'm like drumming on the steering wheel. I'm like getting a lot of stuff done. I get right to my lunch. I take like an hour nap for my lunch, and I'm just like, that thing. You know what? That only worked. It was tasty. And now we're coming back from the range last night. I stopped by Maverick. You know, Mike gets a drink and I get a Rockstar. I slam that all the way down. You know what I feel? Nothing. Get home, take a
Nothing.
shower, get in
hmm
bed. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that so the first time I ever had a Red Bull, this was long time ago before I ever I mean like I have ADHD, but before I ever knew any of that, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this because it has caffeine in it. It'll be great." I drank that shit and I got so fucking tired. I was like, I just need to go
Yeah.
sleep.
Like, you
That
guys
that, that
drugged
should have
me.
been an
It's a
indicator.
trick.
I was like, this stuff doesn't work at all.
Now I
Meanwhile,
could
Andrea, if
focus.
she drinks like a Coke too quickly, she's like got the jitters for an hour, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with your
Yeah.
weak blood.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
heaven forbid something happens and we're like, we need to stay awake. And then it's just like, give us caffeine. It's just like, no, it doesn't do anything for me. Like it's
It
just like
doesn't do
we're just like
anything.
people who are just like, no, man, I need a bigger hit of heroin for me to feel anything. We need to up that dose of it.
Yeah, you go into the doctor and they're like, how much caffeine do you drink in a day? Oh, about 400 to 500. That's
So
not good. I'm like, I needed sleep. What do you want?
I'm here to talk
Yeah.
about my wrist. So why don't you shut up your face? We're not talking about
Yeah,
that.
your blood pressure is really high. That's your risk.
The Oh, what was I gonna say about the Sig thing? I'm like looking to get like a new AR-15 upper, and I have like this Sig 516. I've had this thing for 15 years or whatever. Gas piston and upper, and Sig discontinued it. It's like, well, I can't get parts anymore. It's a little dated. And then literally when I'm sitting here shopping, they're like, we just came out with the new Sig 516 Mohawk. We're bringing back the AR-15 Sig piston line, and I literally looked at it as like, all right, it's got most of the same parts, uses the same bolt carrier, but I'm not touching that thing with the 10-foot pole. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. So there you go. I'll even take my own advice.
Hey, at
Don't
least
buy it.
this, at least that one you don't have to go down your pants, right? Like you're not carrying that appendix.
Oh
Less
yeah, but
chance it's gonna blow your.
they have a problem with
He's got
quality
a point.
control over there at Sig. So almost every product has kind of an issue. Like
Allegedly, they have a problem
allegedly,
with quality control.
They are
allegedly.
the
Your
most
holster
tested
is just
firearms
wrong.
in the market. Everybody knows. Most tested. Just not in the areas that are important. See, that's the thing. At the end of the day, it comes right back to that thing. Maybe there's nothing wrong, but there's enough smoke that maybe I just go find a different gun and never even have the chance of something going wrong.
Yeah, well, it's
Why take the risk?
my theory, which is if it was every gun and it's just some sort of like social contagion that's going around, we would have at least stories seeing it with other different models.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. But
Yeah.
like when it's all the same model, that they just call that a signal. That's just a signal. It's pointing you.
Signal. Ah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, it is a signal. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
That's all the questions.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. We are recommending that you guys take your future small firearms purchases very, very seriously and listen to all the signals that are floating out around there in the ether and go from there on that. And anyways, check out the sponsors. Use the promo code. Download, listen, subscribe, but mostly download, delete, download, delete, download, delete, then download, listen, get those numbers up. We appreciate you guys for what you do, and for Robert Wyatt and Kevin Isaac, I'm Tom Nelson, bidding you peace, love, and soul as we depart into the open waters of the Sea of Life on a little tugboat we like to call the PARAcast.
Night, everybody.
Doodles.
And